yeah, it might be a little bit easier.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dream Talk. This is episode number 18. I'm joined by John, and we just lost Mr. Acrie. He was just in here. I don't know if it was his connection, but
You hear me now?
yep.
Yep, there you
Yeah, I've had to pull up the computer. It makes it a little bit easier.
go.
So, yeah, I'm joined by John for another episode, and I have Mr. Tony Acrie here today. And we're so glad to have him because he's actually a PBL player for the Du Bois Dream. He just participated in the Red Bull three-time tournament, and yeah, he just knows the game. He's been around the community up in Du Bois for a while now, so yeah, we're happy to have you on today.
I appreciate that.
So, first question. Obviously, you played at Altoona Area High School. You played also in community college and at Carlow University. But where did you start playing the game of basketball? When did you fall in love with the game?
I would probably say around probably like 6 or 7. I'd probably say around there with your just normal, just going to the park and shooting around, and then you get to go to all them camps and stuff. But I really didn't take it seriously until going into my freshman year of college. But I was always playing the game and always loved playing it, so it was just a passion of mine to keep playing.
Mm-hmm. And when you started playing the game, who did you look up to? Because I know a lot of people, they might look up to a sibling, a father figure. It could be a coach, an NBA player, but who did you look up to as a kid?
Yeah, I think it's really your just your NBA players. Really, I grew up. I always had a Shaq jersey on, man. I used to always love watching Shaq play and Kobe and all them guys play. But yeah, it was pretty much just them NBA players. You know how like in elementary school they have you write down your dream job and what you want to be, and now all the football players said they wanted to be in the NFL, and all the basketball players said they wanted to be in the NBA. So it's kind of that, man. You just always look up to them guys, and once you get older, you start to go more towards just the people around you and stuff like that. But I would say as a little kid, I was definitely NBA players.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, I want
Yeah.
to move on to your guys' weekends in Columbus playing at the Red Bull 3-on-3 tournament. So, how was your experience there? And could we see maybe another vlog of you guys if you decide to go down to Philadelphia this weekend?
Yeah, it was a really good experience actually. It was a lot of you notice once you start to travel, it's kind of like AAU. Like once you start traveling around, you start to see a lot of big talent and a lot of big names. It was actually a guy down there. The guys who won it, actually, the guy just had I think like 24, 7, and 6 in the TBT tournament. And we just saw he was putting up the thing. He was player of the game and everything, and we were in our group chat. We were laughing because we seen him there, and then he just won the 3-on-3 tournament, and now he's playing in the TBT, and he just moved on to the next. So yeah, it was a lot of good competition. We made it to the Elite Eight. We played well. Our first game, I think we lost by 1 point. It was a game that definitely was winnable. All the games there were winnable, but that would have probably would have let us get into that Final Four spot because of the way all the teams dropped. We ended up pulling a really good team from the other division. But overall, yeah, it was a really good experience. And we are going to Philadelphia on Saturday, so I'm sure you'll see another vlog. Esther loves getting in them blogs, so yeah, it's a good time, and it's good to have her and everyone around supporting us. So yeah, it was a really good time overall.
Awesome. Awesome. So now the big three, well, not only like 3-on-3, the Red Bull 3-on-3s are in a lot of different cities. You have Ice Cube's Big Three League that's becoming big, but now you have 3-on-3 basketball becoming an Olympic sport. So, what is your opinion on that? And also at the same time, what do you like playing in a 3-on-3 setting as opposed maybe more, or what do you like less than playing in a 5-on-5 setting?
Yeah, the 3-on-3 stuff's starting to get really big. The Olympic style is a lot different. Like for the people who don't know, it's pretty much continuous play. So once that ball goes through the net, there's no checkup or anything. It's just get it out the net, 2 feet behind the line. They play the Olympic rules, so if the people are not used to the FIBA rules, I was blessed to play a year over in England, so I was kind of used to it. where if the ball's on the rim and it's not inside the cylinder, you can smack it off the rim. And there's just a lot of different rules into it. But going to your question of what I like more, it's just there's so much more space. I mean, there's only three guys on the court, so it's for a big guy, it's really good because it's hard for guys to double you. You can't really get. I got doubled all season this season, so it was kind of good not to get doubled. So yeah, it's really good. But I think moving on, it's a really good Olympic sport. It's actually super fun to watch if you get a chance to sit down and watch it. It's a really good time because like I said, you see a lot of crazy athletes and you see a lot of competitive. It's super competitive. Like even at the Red Bull 3-on-3, it was super competitive. And then the Ice Cube 3-on-3 is a little bit different. There's checkups. It's not really that Olympic style sport, but you see these guys that are like in their 50s still giving these young cats a little something. Joe Johnson's always fun to watch and everything like that. So yeah, the Ice Cube 3-on-3 is good. In the Olympic, I think they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I love the FIBA rule as well. I think the NBA should adopt more of the FIBA rules with more physical play and being able to take the ball off the rim. Uh, Lastly, before I kick it back to Nick, you did touch on your time that you spent in England. So when you went over there, you were playing for a professional team, also going to school at the same time. Although England may not be known for its basketball, obviously, it's a football, it's a soccer country. How did that competition stack up to anything that you had seen in the States?
I would say where I was at, I was in NBL 3, so it was some top tier talent. There was a lot of good guys, but compared to the States, I think the States is a lot harder. It's different over there, man. It's more like methodical and it's more slow paced, but it's fast at the same time. It's so hard to explain. Like if you watch James Harden play, it's like 5 or 6 James Hardens on the court along with Luca. Like Luca's another one. He grew up playing over there. So like it's like 5 or 6 Lucas and James Hardens on the court. Like it's just insane the way they play. It's so much different. It took me probably about I would say like 2 weeks to get back to like the final pace of just coming from over there and then going over here to the States. So it was a different time, but the competition was really good. You would see a couple guys like here in the States, you could see 5 or 6 like 4 or 5 star recruits. Like over there, like one team would probably have 1 or 2 guys, and then your other guys were pretty much just average guys. So but every guy from the States, their dreams to go play overseas, and all them guys from overseas, they want to come over and play for the States. So it's the competition is definitely there. It's just it just matters where you go too. I know a lot of guys that they play in the top tier guys. Dustin Sleva from Shippensburg, actually, he plays for a team in Paris, and they're like the top notch team. So once you start to get up there, you start seeing really good competition. So it's just, but with that, you just got to start at the bottom and work your way up. And but once you work your way up, the competition's definitely right there with the States.
Yep. I like your response. And that kind of leads to my next question. Obviously, we see now players that are now in the NBA, like LaMelo Ball. You mentioned Luca. Obviously, when kids finish high school, they might not want to, play in college. They might want to go to the G League, might want to play overseas. I just want to get your thoughts on, do you like that decision? Would you make that decision as a player?
It would matter what standpoint of where I was. Like if you, for example, like if you're talking about Luca, like I think he knew he was good enough to go play over in the NBA right after he came out of high school, whatever. He played, I guess you could say he played professional over there for a couple years. But he just knew, and I think it's just all about being realistic with yourself. I know a lot of guys. I mean, I talked to a lot of guys that said that the coach just didn't like them. That's why they didn't make it to the NBA. So you just got to be realistic with yourself. So I think that if I knew that I had the talent from there, definitely you would want to make that jump. But at the same time, that college experience is really good, just in the basketball, but just like a personality standpoint. Like you get to grow a lot with just like your personality and just being able to live on your own and stuff like that. Like that's just the little stuff that you get in college that is just not the basketball standpoint of it. But yeah, like I said, if I was realistic with myself and I knew that I'd be able to do it, I think it would be a good journey. But it's kind of hard to say that I would take it now that I experienced college, because I know what college has done for me. So maybe if I didn't experience college, I would probably say I would do it, because there's a lot of money involved over there, especially if you're really talented.
Yep. And now I want to transition back. Obviously, you said as a kid you wore Shaq jerseys. You idolized, you looked up to players like Kobe. But I actually read that, if I'm not mistaken, you're 24 currently, and you actually play forward, and you're 6'3", 230.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your game to the audience?
I'm pretty much I would say like a Hakeem Olajuwon type player, I would say, with a lot with the rebounds and stuff. The team makes fun of me because of my hook shot. If you guys get to watch any games this year, I'm sure you'll see a lot of hook shots being thrown up. That's pretty much my signature move, because being like 6'3", 6'4", down there with all the other bigs, you got to kind of use your strength, and I kind of live off of that post hook, because a lot of people can't block it. Even whenever we get up to like the 6'9", 6'10" guys, like they still struggle blocking it. And then along with just being able to put offensive rebounds down and stuff like that. So I would say probably like Akeem, maybe a little Charles Barkley in there with the rebounding situation. But overall, I would say probably them two.
Yep.
Tony, I want to move on to your playing with the Dream. So me and Nick got to go up to Du Bois. I mean, excuse me, not Nick. Sorry. Hopefully, we can get up there soon. But me and a few other interns were able to get up there. We were able to meet everybody. I was able to meet Coach Rick and have a good conversation with him. And he said that the Premier Basketball League is a kind of a springboard to move up to another league, to move up to higher competition, or just to move on to something bigger than the PBL. Obviously, with not getting paid, and it's a small league with only a few teams, it's definitely more of a springboard for another league. So if we're talking about yourself here, what's kind of next for you? What goal are you working towards? And if you're playing in the PBL now, what would you like to do to kind of springboard to something bigger?
I would say pretty much the big goal is to go back overseas. Obviously, I feel like that's a big thing for me. But just it's a good place to showcase your talent if you want to do that. But at the same time, it's good for a lot of them guys who just want to come out of. There's some guys that just come out of high school and they're looking to play, but they're not looking to go pay that college tuition or anything, or it wasn't good enough to get a scholarship or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of guys that come straight out of high school and try to play for the PBL, and it's a really good talent. Once you start moving up to your like Toledo, they went undefeated this year. They didn't even lose a game, and we played them our first game of the season. And it was kind of like a smack in our face, like these guys are talented, and not to mention the PBL is expanding. They're putting in, I think there was like 7 or 8 new teams already joined in the last like week or two. So it's going to be, it's looking to pan out like it's going to be like a 25, 30 game season almost. So it's starting to build up there. But I would say for me, it's definitely the going back overseas part of it. But it's definitely to keep me ready for it. But like I said, again, even if the people are coming out of college and just still looking to play, but they still have that competitiveness where they don't want to go to the YMCA every day and play and try to play that pickup. They want to keep it more organized, and they still want to be competitive and be part of a team. So I would say that's pretty much what it is. But overall, the PBL talent's really you run into some really good athletes, man. So it's definitely not a joke, and it's definitely not some just like YMCA league.
Right, right. And then lastly, wrapping up on the Dream before I kick it back to Nick. You are from Altoona. You went to Carlo in Pittsburgh. What was your journey like to getting to Du Bois after college? And just how did you get there?
Yeah, so after high school, I actually I took a year off. So it's something that you don't hear of. You usually hear if people take a year off, they never go back to college. So as soon as I came out of high school, I took a year off. Just worked on my game. Knew that I wasn't going to be good enough coming out of high school to be able to perform in the college league. So I ended up taking a year off, worked at FedEx, and then just worked on my game. And then I met a coach at the AU tournament. Actually, he gave me his contact information. It was the Penn Highlands coach, Coach Loya, and he just I kept his information, kept it close, and I at the first point in time I thought I was going to get a Penn City Altoona. And then I kind of realized that I didn't want to be so close. It's like probably like I would say about a half a mile down the street right now. So I just figured I didn't want to be so close, and I knew that I needed to have that 2 years of experience before I went on to a bigger league. So I went to Penn Highlands for 2 years, had a really good season. My first season was actually, I led the nation in rebounding that year. So that kind of gave me the confidence to be able to go rebound. So that was kind of when I got my rebounding hitch, where I didn't care how many really points I wanted. If I didn't get over 15 rebounds, I was mad at myself. So after that, played my sophomore season there, same exact thing. I was actually second in the nation for rebounding that year, and I averaged more rebounds that year. It was like some 7 foot guy was averaging like 17.8 rebounds a game or something like that. So I got beat out that year, but it was a good experience, and overall just had me work on my game. And then I got the chance to go to Carlo for 2 years, another 2 good seasons. And then after that, I got the opportunity to go over to England for that year. And then I came home and I was just looking. All this COVID stuff happened exactly. It was probably right around the time where it was about to start. I got a call, and they said that on Saturday I got a call, and they said I needed to be in the States by Monday. So I had to pack all my stuff, had to leave the season early. We were getting ready to make a playoff push, so it was tough that we got to end in like that. So everything kind of got shut down. So I was looking for somewhere else to play, and still wanted to be competitive, and still wanted the opportunity to go back overseas. And I knew I couldn't do it just playing my local summer leagues and stuff like that, because you just can't be seen by coaches like that. So I went into one of the private runs actually last year, and actually it was a 3-on-3 tournament. And the coach told me to come out to the private runs, and then got in contact with Al and all them guys, and the rest is pretty much over. I got a chance to go to the combine. The team liked me. Ended up getting on the team, and we had a kind of a escalated season this year, but it was a really good season. Averaged 19 and 13, so I was pretty happy with myself with that. Knew probably could have had some better games, but overall, I think it was a good experience. But that's kind of how I got wrapped up into the whole Du Bois dream thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very, very interesting story, because a lot of our guests, they shared their stories, but you really, really went in depth. So I'm glad you were able to share that with the audience. And before we wrap it up, before we talk our most important question regarding the NBA Finals, I want to ask you a few quick hit questions related to basketball. Mm-hmm. So first one is, who is your favorite player all time?
All time? Oh, that's a tough one. I would have to say Kobe, man. It's hard. It's hard not to say Kobe at this point in time. There's a lot of guys that are right there up there with him, but I got to grow up watching him play and stuff like that, man. He was just doing stuff that no one else could do at that point in time. So it was really interesting.
Yep. Best offensive player currently.
Currently offensive player, it's a fight between Durant and Harden, man. Them guys can just literally score at will. It's actually insane. I would say Curry might be up there a little bit, but I would just say offensively, just being able to go get a bucket whenever, it's either Harden or Durant. I'd probably put Durant a little bit over Harden.
Best defensive player.
Man, Drew Holiday might have a little impact in there, man. I didn't really know that he was that really good of a defensive player until I started watching his finals. Yeah, I would have to say lockdown. You might even be able to give it to the PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's been shutting a lot of people down too, man. But I think I would give it to Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm. And best current player.
Best overall, man. It's hard not to throw Giannis in there, man. That guy he could score whenever, man. It's tough, and he has a lot of things. I think what he struggles with though, it would be that 3-point shot, man. The game's starting to change a little bit when them bigs need to be able to knock down the three. I would have to say best over. I would say Durant, man. I think he just has it all, and he still has a lot more years coming. So I feel like Durant, I would have to go with.
Yep. And then 2 more before we wrap it up. Who is your MVP?
MVP this? Man, I think the Bucks are gonna win it. So I'm gonna have to say either Giannis or I think Chris Middleton has a big part in that too, man. So but I think it's gonna be hard that they don't give it to Giannis with the numbers he's been doing. I think I saw he's shooting like 62% or something like that, like which is just insane to me because that's I think I shot 52% this year or something like that. So he's shooting another 10% over, and he's just dominating the game right now. And with all he's grabbing 13, 14 rebounds a game. So I would have to say I'd have to give it to Giannis.
Yep. And then our last one, we've been asking all of our guests, but obviously this was earlier because we asked players when the Clippers were still in it and when the Nets were still in it. But now that we're here at watching the finals, who do you have winning?
I'm gonna have to say the Bucks, man. I think they closed it out tonight. They're just their home court advantage is just something different than anyone else. Like I thought the Suns were just gonna run away and sweep these guys, and then they went back to Milwaukee, and it was just like a whole different Suns team. Like I don't know what happened to them. So I think tonight's gonna be tough for them. There's a lot of people rooting for the Suns. I mean, I would really love to see Chris Paul get a championship because I feel like if he doesn't get a championship this year, it's going to be over for him. And I don't want to see a great point guard like that go down. That's just gonna ruin his legacy, which is it's tough. It sucks to say, but he's not going to be able to get talked into with the top 5 players of all time and stuff like that because of him just not being able to win a championship.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah,
But,
I would agree as well. I was hoping for Suns. Actually, Tony, it's funny you bring that up because you're the only guys that said Bucks so far. Yes, everybody, whether it was Albert, even dating back to when we had like Jamel Cornley on, he said he had Nets and Clippers, so that didn't age well. Sorry, Jamel. Clearly that didn't age well. But Tony, thank you for being on. That was another edition of Dream Talk. I am Jay Kopsik, joined by Nick Armstead. Tony, again, thanks for being on.
Yep.
And we will see you next week.
Guys. Yep. Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.